Hello, welcome back. I've got glasses now, so everything I say is 10 times smarter. I hope you appreciate this. Every single word that comes out of my mouth is going to be really, really interesting and profound. It's going to blow your mind. Now, for real, these are real, I swear. My eye is doing some weird stuff, and turns out I need glasses. But anyway, I have some thoughts about some stuff that I wanted to share. It revolves around human creativity, art learning, and establishing a new paradigm for how those things manifest in the next generation. I am currently building a makerspace in my apartment, and a makerspace, in case you're not familiar, is a place where anyone can come in off the street, find materials, and have free reign over those materials to express themselves creatively. I mean, that's as simply as I can put it. My makerspace is focused more on art. I really want the primary activity to be exploring different mediums, playing with different materials in a artistic way. Not necessarily a STEM focus, which is a lot of creative spaces or maker spaces focus on STEM, which is not bad. I'm in no way creating an us against them mentality. I'm just wanting my space, because I'm an arts focused person, I'm an artist, to be that as the make that the priority. So anyway, what that means for me and for the people that are going to be engaging in this makerspace, which will be mostly children, but I'm really creating this environment as a way for parents to engage with their children, because I think that's a huge factor. The makerspace idea is so profound to me because it's an environment that's completely open, that allows parents and children alike to explore something together. And while this may be some kind of maybe some people might see this as some kind of contrived, easy way to present a creative environment, and maybe there's like cultural things or, traditional things that reflect this idea more succinctly or more holistically. The important factor is that we don't have this in our culture. We really don't. And that, to me, is mind-boggling. I don't understand how we don't have a standard for our culture that involves parents and children actively creating together. Where is that? What is that? Is that a thing? If it's a thing, please tell me. Comment, share something that is a universal standard in our society today, in the modern world, where parents and children share a creative venture together. I don't know what that is. I think we are so caught up in our material paradigm and really operating from this place of materialism resolves problems for everything. And I don't blame us for going there. I think it's a very reasonable assertion that we would go there, but we don't have the faculties anymore to process things in a holistic spiritual way or a holistic aesthetic way. And I was thinking about this before I started recording this video. That's what prompted me to record this, was that what are the universal aesthetics for the United States? What are they? What they are, I think, in my interpretation, is they are realized, they are reflected by a ironic poking fun of tropes, of American propagandistic tropes. Freedom, rah rah. A lot of it is stemming from people who actually still have the gonads to express their American patriotism. And a lot of those people come from the South, and it's like ironic and funny to mock that. And so the whole thing kind of, in all of our cues come from the North in America, and all of our cultural cues, because the left dominates culture. I'm just trying to state this objectively. I'm not trying to make anything political. I'm just presenting where we come from as a society, specifically as an American cultural group. But yeah, what is our aesthetic? Our aesthetic is like red, white, and blue and force through every single big box store interpretation of what that is. You know, it's people in boardrooms coming up with things to sell the everyday citizen. There's no identifying style. There's no period of, you know, masterful enlightenment around an aesthetic. We have these various movements, and the American experiment has brought on things, and I think those artistic movements are localized heavily in cultural epicenters like New York City, Chicago, LA, and there are things happening. I'm not trying to dissuade this notion that we don't have our own ability to create aesthetics. What I'm saying is that culturally, significantly, what is that? What is the aesthetic? The aesthetic is ironic and contrived on purpose. And I find that really funny and kind of presents this conundrum that I really want to address with how people in our society understand creativity and manifest creativity. In our materialist dominant worldview, creativity is seen as an asset only to expand the materialism. It's only, oh, well, if you're creative, you can figure out a new way to make this product. And that is not inherently bad. I think that's a beautiful thing. I am a firm believer in the market, far more so than how state-controlled apparatuses seem to make things way more complicated than they need to be. I think the market is just a clear natural evolution of human ingenuity, and it's just a community building thing. But I think when we are hell-bent on materialism, there's a flaw in our society, and that flaw to me is that we don't have an expression of aesthetics. We don't have a way to identify our own aesthetics, both individually and communally. There's no educational system. There's no exploration. There's no open encouragement of adapting your specific awareness, visual aesthetics. It's all supplementary. It's all extracurricular. Art is seen in our society as a side thing. It's not a primary focus. And I've written about this before, but how the ancient Greeks incorporated art into their society is precisely where I think we can. The way we can do that. The way we can incorporate art in a more cohesive, holistic way is by helping people understand that we are spiritual, visual beings at our core. We're not beings designed to consume products, which is what our culture seems hell-bent on producing. We are creatures, and again, I will make caveat after caveat about this, because I do respect the fact that we've gone through a massive transitionary period over the past 120, 130, 150 years that has modernized our society so dramatically. And I think the direct reason for that modernization is the focus on materialism. So we have been able to do things like mass produce, even just the most simple things like mass produce sheets of paper in a really effective, really reliable way, in the billions, in a way that we couldn't even conceive of 100 years ago, or in the 1700s, or the medieval era. Our ability to mass produce has been achieved, and I believe now it's our duty to realign ourselves with prioritizing aesthetics, prioritizing art and creativity as our natural intuitions, and honoring that, incorporating that into I hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think about what I've said so far. Let me know if there's any blind spots to what I'm talking about, or if it's not really making any sense. I think I'm making sense, but if there's some issue with my explanation, I'd love to know. Like, follow, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.